What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Joy Talks, man. I'm about to do another mock draft here. I'm also going live on Instagram as I do this mock draft. But let's go ahead and get this thing started, man. First and foremost, y'all already know who I'm going with this first pick, man. Y'all already know who I'm going with this first pick. That's not changing. I'm pretty definite, definite that Bryce Young is going number one. No other pick. There's no other pick realistically. There's no other pick realistically than Bryce Young going number one, man. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, boom. All right. So first number one overall pick, like I just said before, it is Bryce Young out of Alabama, the top quarterback in this year's class, borderline the top player in this year's class. But next up, we got the Texans, and I do not think that they're going to select the quarterback with this pick here, especially with CJ Stroud and everything that he has going on these past 2 or 3 weeks. But I definitely think they're going to go with Will Anderson, who's a for sure player in this year's draft, and we know he's going to have an immediate impact, and that's what the Texans really need. And they're going to be needing this for this year, next year, and the year after that, more than likely. Next up, we got the Cardinals on the board. Now, right here, I definitely believe the Cardinals could move back in the draft, get some more draft capital or something like that. But at this point in time, I think that they try to select one of the best players in this year's draft, and they go ahead and they get. I think they're going to switch it up. I think the Cardinals are going to switch it up, and they're gonna get Nolan Smith, man. They're gonna get Nolan Smith, edge rusher. Next up, we got the Colts. They've already said they're going with Will Levis. They absolutely love him. He is the guy of the future for them. Next up, we got the Tennessee. I'm sorry, we got the Seahawks. And I think Jalen Carter is gonna land here. Perfect situation for him. Pete Carroll, he's known for taking guys who have had character issues and making them good role models for years to come. Next up, we got the Lions. I think the Lions can definitely move up or move back in this year's draft. They're not interested in the quarterback at all, but they just got rid of one of their former top picks that was a corner, and I think they're going to replace him with getting either Devin Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez. Now, we got the Raiders here on the clock. They can definitely move back to get some more draft capital, but with everything that's going on with this football team, I think they need players who are going to be able to move up and around that offensive line just in case there's injuries. And who's better than that than Paris Johnson Jr.? Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Now, they've been busy this offseason, loading up on defense. Their defense is absolutely loaded now, just in one offseason. So I definitely think they're going to go try to switch it up here, get them a wide receiver for their new quarterback to throw to, and they're going to get Jackson Smith or Jigba off that board. Next up, we got the Bears. Now, right here, the Bears could really go anywhere, man. Could really go anywhere. But I definitely think they'll go ahead and try to get one of the best tackles in the game and get Peter Skorinski on their roster. Next up, we got the Super Bowl appearing. What's good, Punk Talk? We got the Super Bowl appearing Eagles. And right here is where I think the draft will take a major turn. The Eagles have an opportunity to really do something huge in this year's draft. And I think that they're going to go ahead and pick Kalijah Cansey, one of the best D-line prospects in this year's draft. Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans. They're on the board, and I think they're going to go with one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft. They need to load up at that position, and these wide receivers are going to start coming off the board real fast in the draft. I can almost guarantee it. And I think they're going to get Jordan Addison, man. Next up, we have the Texans right here again. Just like my last draft, I have them selecting CJ Stroud. I do believe CJ Stroud is going to fall in this year's draft. Next up, we have the Packers. Now, Packers, they could really go anywhere. They could really fall in love with Jordan Love, or they can get them a prospect and do what they did with Aaron Rodgers. So, if anything, I say they put Anthony Richardson. Why not? Why not pick Anthony Richardson? You just traded. You're not known for going offense in the draft. Why not? Next up, we have the Patriots. I think the Patriots try to get one of the best players in this year's draft, and I think that they switch it up and they get Miles Murphy out of Clemson. Excellent pickup for them. Next up, we have the Jets with the pick that they just traded with the Packers for Aaron Rodgers. So with them getting Aaron Rodgers, QB is completely off the board for them. Pro Football Focus says their top needs are a tackle and a linebacker. And I think that they go and get the best interior linebacker in this year's draft, in my opinion. And his name is Jack Campbell. Next up, we have the Texans. Now, right here is where things kind of get tricky. I've seen reports that the Texans absolutely love Hendon Hooker, but with the way the draft is going, he may be available in the second round. But I'm going to go ahead and have them select Hendon Hooker right here. The guy's invited to the draft room, and I don't see a reason in him being invited to the draft room if he's not going to be drafted. You know, that's going to be a bad situation. But next up, we got the Steelers. Now, right here, I think they go and get Christian Gonzalez. This is the furthest I see Christian Gonzalez dropping, pick 17. I think the Steelers could absolutely love a player like him in their defensive back core. Now we have the Lions. They go a number of places, but with this 18th pick, I definitely believe they'll either try to trade back or they will get one of the best D lineman in this year's draft, which is Brian Brees. Absolutely love Brian Brees's tape, and I think that they go ahead and try to make that move and getting him. Next up, we have the Bucks. Now, right here it says that they have needs as quarterback, tight end, offensive lineman, D lineman, and safety. I think they get the best safety off the board and get Brian Branch, keep him in that warm weather. Next up, we have the Seahawks. It has their needs as guard, center, and D lineman. Now, right here, I do believe that they do not listen to Pro Football Focus and get any of these players. I think they get a player that they can move up and down their offensive line. They go get Broderick Jones. Sorry. Next up, we got the Chargers. Now, the Chargers, I think that they can go a number of places with this pick right here, man. Number of places. But if they're thinking about the future, why not go corner? But let's go ahead and have a look at their cornerback depth chart. So they have Sante, they got Sant Jr., J.C. Jackson, Michael Davis, Dean Leonard, Brandon Sebastian. And they also got Derwin James as their number one safety. Now, I don't think they're going to add another cornerback at this point in time. If they're not going to trade out of this pick, I think they go with a guy who's, in my opinion, a game changer, and they get Tyree Wilson. Now, Tyree slipped in this draft because I didn't see him. I didn't scroll enough to see him, and Pro Football Focus put his rank down. Like, he was not in the 20s before. But Tyree Wilson definitely could have went 3. And in my opinion, he's a top 10 prospect, if you ask me. Next up, we got the Ravens. It says that their needs are wide receiver, edge, and cornerback. If they don't make a move to go get D-Hop, I say they go get another wide receiver to give Lamar another target to really go to. And they go and get one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft in Zay Flowers. We got the Vikings up here next, and I think they go get another wide receiver off the board as well, and they get Quentin Johnston. Next up, we have the Jags. Now, right here, the Jags go a number of places because they need a number of spots filled up. But I do have them selecting somebody in the interior offensive line, and I think they go get Osiris Torrance out of Florida. Great piece for them. I think he can really make an impact day one coming into that organization. Next up, we have the Giants. Now, Giants, to me, they're all over the place, man. I don't know this team's identity. I don't know what they really got for the future other than running with Saquon or possibly running him 3 times and throwing him the ball 13 like they did this past season, like they did a game this past season. But they need help at the wide receiver position really, really badly. And at the same time, I have no idea about them selecting a center at this pick. So if they don't move, I think they go get another wide receiver, man. And Josh Downs has some pretty nice tape. So I'm going to have him coming off the board. 26, we got the Cowboys. Now, I think that they're going to take a reach here, and they're going to go ahead and get Gibbs out of Alabama. I'm changing it up here. Next up, we got the Bills. I think they go get Bijan Robinson. And Bengals says that they need a tight end. I'm gonna get them the number one tight end in this draft. Now we got the Saints. Still don't think they'll go and get a center right here with this pick, but I think the Saints are gonna try to beef up their defensive back room, and it is a lot of guys here. But let me have a quick look at their cornerbacks. Okay. Yeah, I think they can definitely. They got Bradley Roby too. I didn't even see him. Definitely use somebody. So I think Emmanuel Forbes would be an excellent pickup for them. Best player available would be my draft strategy if I was a Saint, an Eagle, or a Chief. But next up, we got the Eagles with the second to last pick in this year's draft. It has their needs as wide receiver, guard, center, defensive lineman, and safety. I do not believe they will go wide receiver at all. Nothing pointing to that. But I think that they will get Luke Van Esk. That would be a great addition to their defensive line. Next up, we have the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs. They have a few positions of need, but not really a lot of them. I think they go and get one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft, and they get Nathaniel Dale. His routes are crisp. His routes are exactly what Andy Reid could use in his offense. Thank y'all for joining the show, man. Let's go over the results again. This was a quick one. This is a real quick one. Let's go over the results again, and we will be out of here once that loads up for me. I guess give it a quick second or two. Maybe Pro Football Focus. Okay, there we go. So Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Nolan Smith, Will Levis, Jalen Carter. Yeah, man. Really confident in this draft right here. Some picks I'm not too confident about, but if the draft swings a specific way, anything could happen. But key things from this draft versus my last one. I think Gibbs out of Alabama is going to go first round now. I definitely believe Bijan is going to go first round as well. Bijan could definitely be a top 15 pick. Now, some teams that could use him in the top 15, I believe, are the Texans, of course. I've been hearing things about the Titans reportedly being interested in moving on from Derrick Henry, so that could definitely be a nice replacement for them. Also, the Bears. I think the Bears could be a pretty nice place for them, even though they are top 10. That'll be pretty nice for them, and they can get everything figured out. But that was one of my last mock drafts. I'm only going to be doing these until Wednesday, where we have the season finale, where I will be having more collaborators come on, and we'll be doing another collaborative mock draft. Thank you, everybody who joined in. Appreciate everybody who watching the video. It's your boy Joy Talks. I'm gone.